Hey everyone, welcome to I've never done this before. This is my top movies of 2024. 2024 was not a great year for me personally. I had some wins, but I had a lot of real bad things, bad times. Not a good year. Really hoping 2025 uh, is better. I've never done this before, so I worked in community radio for many years, and I'm still involved in it. And usually around this time of the year, I would do my top 10 albums of the year or whatever. So it's not a total foreign concept to me to do something like this, but I would actually usually do like my top favorite records of the year. So this is kind of like my top favorite movies of the year, although they are in some sort of order, but there are some things that are missing because I don't have them or I haven't seen them yet. So this is going to be movie number 8 through to 5. And then tomorrow I'm going to be doing my top 4 movies of the year. Bearing in mind there are some movies I haven't seen that I really want to see that I know I'm probably going to really like. And bearing in mind I haven't seen all of the movies. So obviously nobody can watch all of the movies and know exactly what's the best for their personal feelings or whatever. But anyway, this is based on what I've seen. But before I dive into that, there are 3 movies that I have not seen this year. One is actually not out yet. But I have a feeling these are going to be in my if I were to redo this list in January, it would probably change a bit. But anyway, one of the movies I have not watched yet, I know. I think I bought... Did this movie come out last December on physical media? Or last winter? I bought this Blu-ray and I've still not watched it. This is Dune Part 2. I liked Part 1 pretty good, but I've heard great things about this, so I feel like this will probably make my top movies of the year. But it didn't because I haven't watched it yet. The other movies I cannot show you because I don't have physical copies of them, and nor are there physical copies available yet. But The Substance with Demi Moore, which came out back in the fall. I didn't see it in the theater, but I have a feeling I'm going to really like that movie. I think the physical media comes out in January, so that's one of those movies I really want to see. And then, of course, Nosferatu, the new Robert Eggers movie, comes out on Christmas Day. So I know I'm going to love that movie. I just know. I just have such great confidence in it. I know I'm going to love it. And it could even be my number 1 movie of the year, and I don't even know it yet. Sorry for all the shaky cam. Just having some coffee. It's like 6 in the morning. It's ridiculous. I woke up at 4 in the morning. I'm recording a bunch of videos now to get them done before the holidays actually commence. So I apologize for my spaciness in advance. So yeah, The Substance, Nosferatu, and Dune Part 2 are my sort of like, I actually put on my paper here, things I haven't seen yet, but I feel I'm going to love. So, and I might have just given away something, but... So yeah, Nosferatu comes out on Christmas Day. Like I said in my previous thrifting haul video, very excited to see that. Feel like it's probably going to be it could be my number 1 movie of the year. I don't know. It's either that or The Substance, probably. I don't know. Hard to gauge at this point. But anyway, I did go old school with my script. It's on paper this week, so you won't see the glare of the computer screen and my glasses. My glasses. That's, what was that? Lord of the Flies? My glasses. So the first movie on my top 8 movies of the year, number 8 is Maxine. This is a psychological horror movie directed by Ty West, who also did the X film as well as Pearl. This is the third installment in that series, I should say, and serves as a direct sequel to X, yeah, because Pearl was a prequel. The synopsis for Maxine is, in 1980s Hollywood, adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Minx finally gets her big break, but as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. This, of course, stars the ever-lovely Mia Goth, Elizabeth Debicki, the Biggie. Moses Sumney, Michelle Monaghan, and Kevin Bacon. That's right. The Baconator is in here. The budget on Wikipedia says this was over $10 million. The box office was $22.1 million. West apparently stated that the viewer can watch each movie independently without seeing the others, and that the films were made to complement each other. So we say it's a trilogy, but it's just really meant to complement each other, I guess. Principal photography took place between April and May of 2023 in Los Angeles. In January of 2024, it was reported that Goth was being sued by background actor James Hunter, who played a corpse on set because apparently Mia Goth kicked him intentionally in the head and then was taunting him. So apparently Mia Goth is just a ferocious tiger. This movie has a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. My thoughts, I really like this film. It was a little bit more subdued than X and Pearl. Mia Goth, though, is on her game here. I thought her acting through the whole series was amazing, but in this one, she really, really kills it. There's some sort of like soliloquy type things where it's just her talking, and she's just so good in this. So convincing as the character. I think I've said this before, but one thing I really like about this movie is that it's set in the 80s and it looks like the 80s. Like 80s, what I would assume LA looked like in the 80s. Of course, I wasn't there, but growing up on the east coast of Canada in the 80s. But it's gritty. It's not like everything's neon and perfect. It's like, it's dirty. The streets look awful. People look scary. It's not like, oh, everybody's got blue lights in their apartment and Pac-Man consoles and top-loading VHS players that have been reconditioned. Like, it's just, I'm so sick of this 80s nostalgia. It's like, okay already. And so Maxine for me was really refreshing. It was like, here's actually, guys, this is what the 80s looked like. Okay. It was dirty and scary and sucky and amazing. So here you go. So anyway, I like that part. Oh goodness. Just having some coffee with some soy milk in it. What else did I want to say about this? It had the kind of the there's a serial killer in it, kind of have the Zodiac vibes going on. I'm really excited to see what Ty West does next, but yeah, Maxine is my number 8 movie of 2024. I really couldn't find 10 movies, guys. I had, I guess, The Strangers Chapter 1 and what's that other one? I can't remember now. There was some other the Watchers. There was a couple other horror movies that I watched that were like okay, but I couldn't even like. I did have like an honorable mentions, but I was like, I don't even think I can really say these are honorable mentions. They're just not that good. But so I narrowed it down to these ones. Anyway, number 8, Maxine. Number 7, coming in at number 7, George Miller's Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Yeah, I got the 4K. Looks beautiful on my TV. Not gonna lie. This is my number 7 of 2024, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Saga Beach. This stars Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. Directed by George Miller, who of course directed all of the Mad Max films to my knowledge. This is the origin story of the renegade Furiosa before her encounter and team up with Mad Max. The budget was this is wild. The budget was $168 million, allegedly. And the box office was a paltry $173.8 million. This is the 5th installment in the Mad Max series. The first one not to focus on protagonist Max Rokatansky, but instead it's a spin-off from the spin-off prequel from Mad Max Fury Road, which came out in 2015. A lot of folks involved with the Fury Road film in 2015 came back to work on this film, apparently. According to the ABC, Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Furiosa was the most expensive film ever made in Australian history. It currently has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. My thoughts on Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Uh, this was a great action film, great drama film. It had lots of tension and drama. More for like Mad Max fans, I suppose. It was more the backstory of the characters and how they got to be who they were. Um, where Fury Road was like basically a straight up action movie, this is a bit more story oriented, kind of going behind how these people got to where they are and the sort of their starting point. Anya Taylor-Joy was great in her role. Um, it still maintains though like a lot of the action from the other Mad Max films. There's still a lot of like well, you can see on the back there's still like a lot of like motorbikes and crazy looking trucks. Not quite as crazy maybe as like the Fury Road, which is supposed to take place after this one. So I guess the machinery got more sadistic, if you will. But yeah, I really like this movie. What else do I want to say here? It's a great companion piece to Fury Road. So if you love Fury Road, which a lot of people did, this is a nice kind of like little preamble to Fury Road. Lots of practical effects. Now, apparently, George Miller had said if Fury Road did well, he would do a trilogy. This movie didn't do as well at the box office. It was a bit of a box office bomb, or at least a disappointment. So I don't know if he's going to do a third one. George Miller is, I believe, in his 70s or 80s. I mean, the guy's up there. But by God, by gum, when Fury Road came out, I think I've said this before, Quentin Tarantino was interviewed and said, like, here's George Miller just schooling. I think it was him anyway that said, here's George Miller just schooling all these like younger action directors. And this dude's in his 70s and he's still like just blowing stuff up and being wild. And Fury Road was so refreshing in a minefield of remakes and sequels and all that crap. But yeah, I'm curious to see if he'll do a third one. But I would highly recommend Furiosa. I think if you like science fiction, action, if you're a Mad Max fan, you'll probably just dig this anyway. It's got lots of nods to the other movies. Like I said, it's a great companion piece to Fury Road. So check this one out. This is my number 7 on my top 8 movies of 2024. Check it out. Chris Hemsworth is also really good in this movie. He's really, really funny and intense. But yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy, man, she was so good in this movie. And, I think I read that, what's her name? Charlize Theron was disappointed to not be involved with it. But I read that she sort of understood where George Miller was going with it. And so she was like, I think she gave like the film like the thumbs up, like, let's, go make an awesome movie, even though I'm not in it. She was great in Fury Road, don't get me wrong. But I think Anya Taylor-Joy was really good too. Curious to see if they're going to do something that takes place between Furiosa and Fury Road, but we'll see. My number 6 movie, I don't actually have a physical copy because I don't think it's on physical media, but that was the remake of Salem's Lot. This was directed by Gary Doberman, who also directed Annabelle Comes Home. He wrote all of the Annabelle movies and both of the It remake films. Not that I'm a fan of many of those movies. I like the first Annabelle, but the synopsis for Salem's Lot: an author returns to his hometown in Jerusalem's Lot in search of inspiration for his next book, only to discover that the townspeople are being attacked by a bloodthirsty vampire. The film stars Lewis Pullman, Mackenzie Lee, and William Sadler. William Sadler, you may recognize his name as being an actor in The Shawshank Redemption, as well as Green Mile, as well as a bunch of other movies. I love William Sadler. He was actually great in Shawshank. This is the first feature film adaptation of the book. It is the first feature film adaptation of the book, preceded by mini-series versions from 1979 and 2004. I've seen the 1979 made-for-TV version with David Soul, directed by Tobe Hooper. As some of you know, I wasn't a huge fan of that movie. I think it might have got overhyped to me. I did not see it as a youngster, saw it as an adult. It's okay. It's okay. Um, According to the director Gary Doberman, the film was shortened from a duration of almost 3 hours, which would have included, among other things, the opening scene set in the Marston house. So this movie was delayed a bunch of times because of COVID, I believe, and it just suffered production stuff. I think it was shelved for a while. Then it was going to be. There was speculation that it was just going to be permanently shelved, like the Batgirl movie, and I think there was a Looney Tunes, like a Coyote movie or something that's shelved. So there was speculation that this movie was also going to be permanently shelved, but it did eventually find its way to streaming. Unfortunately, I don't think it had any theatrical time. It has a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. It wasn't the most well-loved version of this film. My thoughts, I actually really like this movie. I recommended this to a bunch of people I know. I watched it around Halloween, so it was just perfect for those vibes. I like that it didn't drag out like the TV miniseries from '79. It was a bit more lean. I've never read the book, so I don't know how it compares. Some people have said that there was a lot of stuff left out. I mean, you know, Po Buddy's nerfect, as the T-shirt used to say in the '80s. But I had different feelings about it. I liked it a lot better than the 1979 version. I know, I'm sure there's going to be all these people like commenting saying that it's blasphemy, but I thought the vampire looked really good. The makeup was really creepy. They retained that scene with the vampire outside the window floating with the mist, and that really captured that, recaptured that in this version. It's too bad, like I said, it didn't. I don't think it had a theatrical run. I think it would have been great to see this on a big screen. I don't know if it's getting a physical release. You can currently watch it on one of the streaming platforms. I can't remember if it's Crave or Amazon. I can't remember. It's on one of those ones in Canada, but I recommended this to a bunch of people. Like I said, I watched it around Halloween. I loved it. I thought it was just perfect for the season. Spooky vibes, vampires, creepiness, taut. You know, it wasn't over long. It wasn't, too skimpy for me. Again, I haven't read the book. I'm not a big reader. I know. But I just thought it was like almost like a great throwback to 80s horror. It just gave me the vibes, and it didn't overstay its welcome. So you can, of course, disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. Just my opinion. Number 6 on my top 8 films of 2024, Salem's Lot, directed by Gary Doberman, however you say that. And then the final movie in this list, anyway, which is my 5th favorite movie of 2024, is Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice 2, with Michael Keaton returning. This is, of course, a dark fantasy film from Tim Burton from 2024. The synopsis is, after a family tragedy, 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter, Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. Yeah, like I said, directed by Tim Burton. This is a sequel to the 1989 or 1990 Beetlejuice, I think, or 88. I don't know. I can't remember. Late 80s or 90. A long time ago, the movie came out, so kind of wild that we had to wait this long for a sequel. But this movie, of course, stars Michael Keaton in the titular role of... That's the first time I think I've said titular on my channel. As Beetlejuice, the character Beetlejuice. This also stars Winona Ryder returning, Catherine O'Hara returning, Justin Theroux, who... Was he the director in Mulholland Drive? I feel like that's who that was. He looks different now. Jenna Ortega, and unexpectedly Willem Dafoe is in here as a undead cop, an actor playing a cop who's part of his brain is exposed. He is so good in this movie. I'll get to that though. The box office, the budget for this movie was $100 million, and the box office was approximately $451 million. So this made pretty good return on its investment. Apparently, there was several sequels pitched to Beetlejuice. There was one even in Hawaii where Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii or something. I thought that sounded pretty funny, actually. But the sequels were all kind of like shelved, or the scripts, until now. Danny Elfman returns to do the soundtrack, which is spot on, of course. He's usually pretty good at this stuff. Tim Burton said that it seems like a third film is unlikely, but we'll see. I mean, Warner Brothers? You know, they're seeing the dollar signs, and Janet Ortega's the hot ticket right now. Probably going to see a third one, but who knows? This film has a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. My thoughts on Beetlejuice. This is one I didn't like in the theater. I actually went to see this with my sister. I didn't like this that much in the theater. I was like, I don't know. I thought it was very weird when I saw it in the theater, very surreal. But upon rewatch here on Blu-ray, I actually enjoyed it a lot better. It has some nods to the original, but there's lots of new stuff to keep this one fresh. Michael Keaton is the big draw here, of course. Whenever he's on screen, he just chews up the scenery. He's hilarious in this role. And there's one thing that kind of bothers me, and it's a really tiny thing, but there was a bit of inconsistency with his makeup. I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but like his face is painted white and it goes down to his neck. But there's a scene near the beginning where his face is white and then the makeup stops like here, and then it's like flesh tone down here. That, I don't know why, but that bothered me. Is he supposed to be all white, or like, just, I don't know, just pick a in or out, as the parents used to say, don't keep opening the door, in or out, all white or not white. I just don't know what they were doing there, but that part, I don't know. No, I've heard nobody else say anything about it, but that part bothered me for some reason. I know it's very nitpicky and very I don't know, but that's a very small nitpick. It was a cool movie. It was a little muddled at times. There was a lot going on in the plot, a lot of different storylines happening all at the same time. There was, of course, the character who played Beetlejuice's ex. Is she even on the cover? Oh, yeah. She's right there. So Beetlejuice was apparently married to this lady, or was involved with this lady at some point, and now she's stalking him in the afterlife or whatever. She looked so cool at the beginning. She got like all stitched together, kind of like Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. And then she just kind of disappeared for a whole bunch of the movie, and it was really distracting. But I guess in the end, it all kind of got tied up neatly, but it was weird. I'm not gonna lie. But I didn't think it overplayed to the fans of the original. Like it wasn't a lot of fan service. It did have a bunch of new stuff, like I said, and it did kind of feel pretty fresh, even though this is like what, 35 years later, for a sequel. But yeah, was cool. Bob is in there, the shrunken head dude. He's in there. He's pretty hilarious. There's a whole room of those shrunken head dudes working on typewriters, which was pretty clever. I think there was a skeleton at the switchboard, which was like just a skeleton, like it was just like an actual skeleton prop or whatever. It was like, it had a lot of old school nods, which was cool. Lots of scenes with like stop motion with the big worm thing in the desert. So if you're looking for like a little bit of a throwback with a bit of fresh stuff thrown in, would highly recommend this. The practical effects were great. The acting was pretty good. It didn't feel like real tired. Jenna Ortega has a little like side romance, which I won't give away, but that scene was kind of charming. It had more drama in it than the original. To me, like, it was more like serious at parts, but that was okay. I thought that actually really worked well. So my number 5 of my top 8 movies of 2024 is Beetlejuice from director Tim Burton. That's it for this video, but tune in tomorrow, Christmas Eve day. I'm going to be dropping my top 4 movies of 2024. With a little asterisk, of course, I haven't seen Nosferatu or Dune 2 or The Substance, which probably could usurp some of these top 4 movies, but at this point in time, it will be my top 4 movies. So stay tuned for that, or tune in tomorrow for that, I should say. And then, yeah, the next day's Christmas Day. I'll be busy with family stuff, but I would like to do something more, maybe. I don't know. I did say in my previous Thrifting Haul video, I'll be back with my, I know of, I believe, 2 movies that I'm getting for Christmas. So I might come back and just do a short video to talk about those. But who knows? We'll see. Depends on my energy levels too. Christmas can be very exhausting. But anyway, that's it for today. Let me know your thoughts on those movies. Did you like any of those, or any of those in your top 10 or your top 20 or whatever? Or maybe you disagree with me and you say some of them you don't like. I can tell you for one thing, tomorrow my top 4 and my number 1 is going to be very controversial. And I'm sure I'm going to be called a hipster, but my number 1 is definitely, you're not going to probably expect it, but tune in tomorrow and see that top 4 for holiday 2024. I forgot to kind of like hype up the holiday special Night Owl video. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you missed my Thrifting Haul video the other day, go back and check that out. It'll be on my playlist of Thrifting Haul videos. And tune in again tomorrow for my top 4 movies of 2024. Until then, very unlikely that I'll see you at the video store or the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. But until tomorrow, take good care of yourselves. Eat some Christmas treats, put on the Christmas lights, watch a cool Christmas movie, A Christmas Story, Krampus, Charlie Brown's Christmas, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So many good. Is it right here? George C. Scott. This is the dope stuff right here. So if you're looking for something cool to watch Christmas Eve, go check that one out. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Bye.